Woohoo!
Are we excited or what?
Well, what?
That's more like it.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I better go get my hat.
Okay.
Well,
Let's do it, people.
Hello,
let's do it. The MIT script doesn't have accents, but the what is it? Folger's script does.
To me, it's more important in this show for some reason, especially in Act 3 when he talks to the friar. So I was reading my role and realized that banished and banished are two different pronunciations.
Yep.
And it got crazy. Hey, there you are. Good old Capulet. Ready for the party?
I didn't know we were supposed to do costumes. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be the nurse has a fan. Here we go.
There you go.
As far as I can.
Shakespeare.
I'm a fan of fans.
There you go. That's the man. S. Kalis.
I look like I'm graduating.
Yes, well, it's
I'll do the commencement speech.
it's the hat backwards is what I like.
Yeah, that's how we do things here, Woodland Hills.
That's right. Speaking of which, do we have Eli tonight?
Eli Manning?
Hmm.
No, he's not playing anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw his name on the list, but
You're talking football, right?
oh yeah. How about those Bengals, huh?
You know who's kicking?
Rams.
McPherson.
Ah, yes.
No, you don't. I'm telling you.
You know I don't know.
I'm telling you. Now you know.
Now I know. Well, look out for Hesse. He's out there too.
Wait, in Cincinnati. That's right. That's your hometown, right?
That is my hometown. I know if I want to brag about it or not.
Well, today you could. They were ahead when I left. Let me check the score.
Be glad you everybody left. And there's Romeo. Oh, Romeo.
Hello, James.
Well, good. You did exactly what I wished you would do, and that is come closer to the screen so we can see your various emotions.
Okay.
You sound so so sure of your emotions.
Well, I'm a 71-year-old playing a 16-year-old, you know. So
Join the crowd.
It's all right. Your time has come.
your time has come.
Finally showed up. Yes,
Leilani joining us?
yes,
She is.
in a red dress a moment ago.
Oh.
Where's our Juliet?
And
Not here yet, huh?
We need Una.
Mm-hmm.
we don't need her right away, but it'd be nice to have her here.
Okay.
Okey-dokey. I think it's. Do we want to start early and get done early?
Well, we're lacking some people.
Huh?
We're lacking some
I'm
people.
coming. Hold on a minute.
Well, it's only the oddball kids that are in the beginning. I have to.
Supposed to be on a horse.
I got a horse. A horse. I'm getting horse. I'm trying to remember the name of the person who painted that wonderful picture behind you, Richard.
Michelle.
Michelle
The Albrecht.
Albrecht.
Yeah, I'm going to go see her this summer.
Are you?
She lives in Portland.
Well, that's a good place to live.
And we're going to go see The Tempest at The Shakespeare,
Yeah, big festival.
that place.
That place. Well,
Ashland.
Ashland, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
now I feel ready for Tybalt. Well, I would make a suggestion that we give this thing a go.
I'm ready.
And,
I'm ready.
Leilani would be
I want to ask a question.
a
Who's
question.
announcing, Mike isn't here, who's announcing each scene?
It doesn't matter.
Because he usually says, you know, act 2, scene, and he's not here, so who's going to do that?
It takes me away from the story, so I'd
Oh,
Richard, would you like to do that?
absolutely.
You're wonderful.
Richard.
Hi, Sandy.
Leilani, I wanted to thank you. I hope I didn't steal that from you.
Oh,
That
that's
was very
fine.
generous.
That's fine. We go
Yeah.
around and around, so it'll come back again some other time.
That was very kind of you, and I apologize in advance. I'm so out of
No, that's
practice.
fine.
that
I would love to hear.
I'm sorry if you wince at whatever
I'm
weird
not-
accent
no.
I tried. Are you guys doing accents, or are you just like whatever?
It's
I
a-
don't do an accent. Just whatever.
Ken, if you
Well,
want.
you better get your part ready because that's how I'm going to play it.
Hey,
Juliet's not here.
that's not fair. I was
Oh,
gonna do
you know what?
John Wine.
I
Let me call
guess you
Una.
guys had better cut it out or I'm going to have to settle things here. So,
Wait,
Why
Juliet's
would you
not here. I'm going to
allow-
call Una.
Good one.
You
Okay.
call Una while we start the show. How's that?
You can't, well, I
Name,
start the
name your characters, Keith, that you're going to need.
Leilani does the prologue. You can do that and then skid out, Leilani.
Well, let me call her real quick.
Okay.
We got Samson Gregory prologue.
Abraham.
This is like
Abraham, you
Yeah, those
said you
three.
wanted me to read that. Is that right? Yeah, it was on there. Abraham.
Okay, thank you.
I'm ready to.
Coming on right now. I'm going to
Oh, golly.
let's get into the frame of mind.
oh my God, the Bengals are winning.
My goodness, Jim.
Courtesy of Mike.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Oh, here you got somebody. Who is it? Una.
Una's here.
Una Lula.
That's a sigh of relief.
You want to assign who's going to read what?
Yeah, that's cool.
You got,
We're gonna do the flower drum song. We're just gonna switch this up.
okay.
100 million miracles.
Yeah, breathe.
100 million miracles. Okay.
Love, look
Wait a
away.
minute, Peter's got his audio off again.
Yeah. Question.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Am I reading anybody else other than
Of course you are.
Of course. What? I forget which one.
Okay. I got this thing up here real quick. Peter, you got Patriarch Capulet, House of Capulet. You have Montague, the Patriarch of Montague.
Patriarch. Okay.
The Montague. So at Sandy, you got the 3 parts. If it's third fisherman or third watchman or third musician,
We're going to all those.
got that.
You wrote down Abram and the nurse and the third musician / watchman.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're asking. Montague. Yeah, that's the ones, Peter. Capulet and Montague. Head household. That's what you got.
He's Capulet and Montague, is he?
Yeah.
That's both fathers.
Patriarch of the two, right?
Hey, I'm telling you guys, sign up.
I think they're only together at the last scene. So.
Okay.
You're going to skip that.
Yeah, you can flip around if you need to.
Okay.
Actors to the stage. Actors to the stage.
Who's that?
Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Prologue.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventurous piteous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but with their childish end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend.
Scene 1, Verona, a public space.
Gregory, my word, will not carry coals.
No, for them we should be colliers.
I mean, and we be in collar will draw.
Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of the collar.
I'll strike quickly, being moved.
But thou art not quickly moved to strike.
A dog of the house of Montague moves me.
To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runnest away.
A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's.
That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall.
True. Then therefore women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore I will push Montague's men from the wall and thrust his maids to the wall.
The quarrel is between our masters and us their men.
'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be cruel with the maids and cut off their heads.
The heads of the maids?
Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt.
They must take it in the sense that feels it.
Me? They shall feel while I am able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh.
'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool, here comes two of the house of Montague.
My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will back thee.
How? Turn thy back and run?
Fear me not.
No, Mary, I fear thee.
Let us take the law on our sides. Let them begin.
I will frown as I pass by, and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as they dare. I will bite my thumb at them, which is a disgrace to them, if they bear it.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Is the law of our side, I say, eh?
No?
No, sir! I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir.
If you do, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
No better.
Well, sir?
Say better. Here comes one of my master's kinsmen.
Yes, better, sir.
You lie.
Draw, if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow? Halt, fools! Put up your swords. You know not what you do.
What? Talk you drawing swords? Benvolio, turn thee, Benvolio, and look upon thy death.
I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me.
I do but put up keep the peace. What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, and I hate thee, all Montagues and thee. How about thee, coward?
Our clubs, pills, and partisans, strike, beat them down, down with the Capulets, down with the Montagues.
Fight to fight. Mr. Capulet, are you there? Are you there?
What noise is this? Give me my long sword, ho!
Crutch, a crutch, why call you for a sword?
My sword, I say. Old Montague is come and flourishes his blade in spite of me.
Is thou known, Capulet? Hold me not. Let me go!
Thou shalt not stir a foot to seek a foe.
Religious subjects, enemies to the peace, profaners of the neighborhood, stained steel, will they not hear? What hope? You men, you beasts that quench the fire of your pernicious rage, with purple fountains issuing from your veins, on pain of torture. From those bloody hands throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. These civil brawls, bred of an airy world, by thee, O Capulet and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets and made Verona ancient citizens, cast by their grave beseeming ornaments, wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. From this time forth, all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me, and Montague, come you this afternoon, to know our further pleasure in this case. To Old Freetown, our common judgment place, once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
Peter.
Who set this ancient quarrel new abroad? Speak, nephew. Were you by when it began?
Here, where the servants of your adversary, and yours, close fighting, ere did I approach. I do to part them. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt, with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who, nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more, and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either part.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw him here today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray.
Madam, an hour before, the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east. A troubled mind drave me to walk abroad, where, underneath the grove of a sycamore, that westward rooteth from the city side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood. I measured his affections by my own, that most are bruised when they're most alone. Pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me.
Ah, many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds, more clouds, with his deep sighs. But all so soon as that all-cheering sun should in the farthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pins himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
My noble uncle, do you know the cause?
I neither know it, nor can learn of him.
Have you importuned him by any means?
Both by myself and many other friends, but he his own affections counselor, and is to himself. Bless you. I will not say how true, but to himself so secret and so close, so far from some sounding than and discovery, as is the bud bit in the envious worm, ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the sun. Should we but learn from whence his sorrows came, we would as willing give as cure to know.
See? Where he comes, so please you, step aside. I'll know his grievance, or be much denied.
I would thou wert so happy as thy stay to see true shrift. Come, madam, let's away.
Good morrow, cousin.
Is the day so young?
But news struck 9.
Ah me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast?
It was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor, where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Alas, that love whose view is muffled still, should, without eyes, see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, oh brawling love, oh loving hate, oh anything, of nothing first create. Oh heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, cuz I rather weep.
Good heart, at what?
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke raised with the fume of sighs, being purged as sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed, the sea nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my cuz.
Soft! I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
I've lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where.
Tell me in sadness, who is that you love?
What, shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan? Why no, but sadly tell me who.
Bid a sick man in sadness make his will? Ah, word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
Aimed so near when I supposed you loved.
Right good mark, man. And she's fair, I love.
All right, fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit.
Well, in that hit you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives unharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saint-seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies with beauty, dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste?
She hath. Then that sparing makes huge waste. For beauty starved with her severity cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She has forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me, forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I shall forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties.
'Tis the way to call hers exquisite, and question more. These happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black, put us in mind they hide the fair. He that is struck and blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve? But as a note, where I may read who passeth that passing fair. Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt.
Into a street.
But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike, and 'tis not hard, I think, for men as old as we to keep the peace.
Of honorable reckoning you all, you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
By saying all what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change in 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride.
Younger than she, our happy mother's maid.
And too soon marred are those who so early made. Earth hath swallowed all my hopes, but she's the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part. And she agreed, within her scope of choice, like my consent, and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store. Once more welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house, look to my behold this night. Look, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads even such delight among fresh fennel buds shall see you this night inherit at my house. Hear all see, and like her meet whose merit most shall be, which, on more view of many, mine being one, may stand in number, although in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Go, sirrah. Charge about through fair Dorona. Find those persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here right, and can never find what names the writing person hath here right. I must to the learned in good time.
Tut, man! One fire burns out another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy and be helped by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's languish. Take thou some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Your plantain leaf is excellent for that.
For what, I pray thee?
For your broken shin.
Why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and God den, good fellow.
God Godon, I pray, sir, can you read?
I, mine own fortune in my misery.
Perhaps you have learned it without book, but I pray, can you read anything you see?
I, if I know the letters and the language.
Yes, say honestly, rest you merry.
Stay, fellow, I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselm and his beauteous sisters, the Lady Widow of Ritavio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline, Livia, Signor Valentino and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena. A fair assembly, whither should they come?
Up.
Whither?
To supper to our house.
Whose house?
My master's.
Indeed, I should have asked you that before.
Now I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montague, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry.
At this same ancient feast of Capulets sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think they swan a crow.
When the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, and turn tears to fires, and these, who often drowned could never die, transparent heretics, be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun, ne'er saw her match since first the world begun.
Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye, but in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid. That I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now shows best.
I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of mine own.
Scene 3. A room in Capulet's house.
Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me.
Now, by my maidenhead at 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid, where is this girl? What, Juliet?
How now? Who calls?
Your mother.
Madam, I'm here. What is your will?
This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age.
Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour.
She's not 14.
I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teen be it spoken, I have but 4. She is not 14. How long is it now to Lamestay?
A fortnight and odd days.
Even Orad, of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night, shall she be 14. Susan and she, oh God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But as I said, On Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14, that shall she. Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it. Of all the days of the year upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dove, sitting in the sun under the dove house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua. May I do bear brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dove and felt it bitter, pretty full, to see it tetchy and fall out with the dove, shake, quoth the dove house. 'Twas no need I trow to bid my trudge. Oh, and since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand high lone. Nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, oh God be with his soul, I was a merry man, took up the child. Yes, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Wilt thou now, Jewel? And by my holy dove, the pretty wretch left crying, and said I, to see now how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel, quoth he, and pretty fool, instead and said I.
Enough of this. I pray thee, hold thy peace.
Yes, madam. Yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should be crying and say I. And yet I warrant it had been upon its brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? And said I.
And stand thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I.
Peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Oh, thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed. And if I lived to see thee married once, I have my wish.
Mary? That Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an hour that I dream not of.
An honor. Were not I thine only nurse? I would say thou had sucked wisdom from my teat.
Well, think of marriage, new, younger than you. Here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
Man, young lady, such a man as all the world. He's a man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
He's a flower. In faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one lends another content. And what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair, without the fair within to hide. That book in many eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him, making yourself no less.
No less. Nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Can you like of Paris's love?
I'll look to like, if liking move, but no more deep will I endure mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly.
Madam, the guests are come, supper is at, and served up, and you called my young lady, asked for the nurse, and cursed in the pantry, and everything is in extremity, and I must hear hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight.
We follow thee, Juliet, the county stays.
Oh, good. Seek happy nights to happy days.
Scene 4. A street.
What, shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology?
The date is out of such proximity. We'll have no cupids hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of loth, scarring the ladies like crow keeper, nor no without book prologue faintly spoke after the promoter for our entrance, but let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure and be gone.
Give me a torch. I am not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light.
Oh, nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance.
Not I. Believe me, you have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground I cannot move.
Oh, you are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound.
I am too sore and pierced with his shaft to soar with his light feathers, and so bound I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink.
And to sink in it should your burden love. Too great oppression for a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn.
Well, if love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, a visor for a visor. What care I what curious eyes doth quote deformities? Here are the Beale's brow shall blush for me.
Come, knock, and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs.
A torch for me. Let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed with a grandsire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own word. Thou art done. We'll draw thee from the mire of this Sir Reverence love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn the daylight, ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay we waste our light in vain, like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in the air, once in our 5 wits.
And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamed a dream tonight.
Oh, and so did I.
Well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed asleep, while they do dream things true.
Oh, then, I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairest midwife, and she comes in the shape no bigger than an agate stone, on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies, athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon's spoke made of long spiders' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, the traces of the smallest spider web, the collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket bone, the lash of film, her wagoneer a small gray-coated gnat, not so big as a round little worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel of an old grub. Time out of mind that buries coachmakers. And in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love, or of courtiers' knees the dream on courtesy straight, of lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, of ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry mab with blisters plagues, because their breath with sweetmeats tainted on. Sometimes she gallops over a courtier's nose, and she dreams he of smelling out a suit. And sometimes comes she with a tights pigtail, tickling a parson's nose as lies asleep. Then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she deriveth over our soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, and breeches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, of health 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ears, at which he starts and wakes, and thus, being thus frighted, swears a prayer of 2, and sleeps again. This is that very mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf flock in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag, when maids lie on their back, that presses them and leans them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
Peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talkest of nothing.
True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin a substance as the air, and much and more inconsistent than the wind who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south.
This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late.
I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence, yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that the steerage of my course direct my sail on, lusty gentlemen.
Strike drum!
Scene 5, a hall in Capulet's house.
3 serving men could skip those and get down to Capulet, his enter, and his wife Juliet, Tybalt, nurse, and all the guests and gentlemen of the maskers. Capulet.
Welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns will walk about with you. Ah, my mistresses, which of you all will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I swear, hath corns. Am I come near to ye now? Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as you would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You're welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play! Aha, give room, and footed, girls. More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up, and quench the fire. The room is grown too hot. Ah, sirrah, this unlooked-for sport comes well. Nay, sir, nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is now since you last yourself and I were in a mask?
My lady, it's 30 years.
Why, man, 'tis not so much. 'Tis since the nuptial of Lucentio. Come Pentecost as quickly as it will, some 25 years, and then we must.
Oh, 'tis more. His son was older, sir. His son is 30.
Will you tell me that? The son that was a ward 2 years ago.
What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
I know not, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel, Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows the measure done. I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What? There's the slave curse within, covered with an antique face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity. Now, by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman, wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, foe, villain, that is hither come in spite to scorn our solemnity this night.
What young Romeo is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle cause, let him alone. Bears like a portly gentleman. And to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore be patient, take no note of him. It is my will, the which, if thou respect, show fair presence, and put off these frowns, an ill-becoming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, goodman boy, I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him? God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to. You are a saucy boy. Is so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my hearts. You are a prince's. Go, be quiet, or more light. For shame, I'll make you quiet. What? Cheerily, my hearts.
Patience, perforce, with willful color is receding, meeting, and makes my flesh tremble at their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall now seem sweet, and convert to it rest call.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this: my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands to touch, and palm to palm is holy palm kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move those grants for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips, by yours, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from thy lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
Adam, your mother craves a word with you.
What is her mother?
Mary Bachelor. Her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and a wise and virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talked without. I'll tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have but shanks.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account, my life is my foe's debt.
Away, be gone, the sport is at the best.
Aye, so I fear, the more is my unrest.
Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling, foolish banquet towards. Is it even so? Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Come on, then let's to bed. Aye, sirrah, by my fay, it waxes late. I'll to my rest.
Come hither, nurse. What is yonder gentleman?
The son and heir of old Tiberia.
What is he that now is going out of door?
Marry that, I think, be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there, that would not dance?
No, not.
Go ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprung from my only hate. Too early sin unknown and known too late. Rajid in its birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I learn even now, of one I dance withal.
Anon, anon. Come, let's away. The strangers all are gone.
Act 2, Prologue.
Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir. That fair for which love groaned for and would die, with tender Juliet matched is now not fair. Now Romeo is beloved and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks. But to his foe supposed he must complain, and she steals love's sweet bait from fearful hooks. Being held a foe, he may not have access to breathe such vows as lovers use to swear. And she is much in love, her means much less to meet her new beloved anywhere. But passion lends them power. Time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet.
Scene 1. A lane by the wall of Capulet's orchard.
And I go forward when my heart is here. Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out.
Romeo, my cousin Romeo.
No, he is wise, and on my lie hath stolen him home to bed.
He ran this way and leaped this orchard wall. Call good Petruchio.
Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humorous madmen, passion lovers, appear thou in the likeness of a sigh. Speak but a rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry but, ah, me, pronounce but love and dove. Speak to my gossip Venus one fair word, one nickname for her pure-blind son and heir, young Adam Cupid, he that shot so trim. When King Cophetua loved the beggared maid, he heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the demences that there adjacent lie, that in thy likeness thou appears to us.
And if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him.
No, this cannot anger him. Would anger him to raise a spirit in his mistress's circle of some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. That were some spite. My invocation is fair and honest, and by his mistress's name I conjure only but to raise up him.
Come, he hath hid himself among these trees, to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark.
Oh, if love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistress were that kind of fruit as maids call medlars when they laugh alone? Romeo, that she were, oh, that she were, an open, etc. Thou a popper and pear. Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?
Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here that means not to be found.
Perfect. Thank you.
There you are. You can wear your hat if you want. You wanted to see your face.
All right. Scene 2, Capulet's orchard.
He jests at scars that never felt a wound. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady, oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans on her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night being o'er my head as is a winged messenger of heaven to the white upturned wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is mine enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called. Retain that dear perfection which he owes without the title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all of me.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreened at night, so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ear have yet not drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterness, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither, tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'er-perch these walls. For stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do that dares love attempt? Therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
Oh, not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate, and death prorogued, wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel and lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet were thou as far as thou that vast shore washed, with the farthest sea I would adventure for such merchandise.
Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush he paint on my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearest, thou mayest prove false a lover's perjuries. They say Jove laughs. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or if thou thinkest I'm too quickly won, I will frown and be perverse and say thee nay, so thou wilt woo. But else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I'm too fond, and therefore thou mayest think my heavier light. But trust me, gentlemen, I will prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardest her I was where. My true love passion, therefore pardon me, and not impute thy yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Oh, swear not by the moon, the innocent moon, that monthly changes in her circle orb, lest that thy love prove likewise bearable.
What shall I swear by?
Do not swear it at all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I will believe thee.
If my heart's dear love,
well, do not swear, although I joy in thee. I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet good night. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, as sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank and give it to thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. No, good nurse, sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little. I'll come again.
Oh, blessed, blessed night. I am afeard being in night. All this is but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial.
3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow, by one that I will procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortune at thy foot I will lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world.
Madam,
I come anon, but if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee.
Madam,
By and by I come. Cease thy suit and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks.
I hissed. Romeo hissed. Oh, for the falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse, and mine may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo's name.
It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo!
My dear.
At what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
At the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I loved thy company.
And I'll stay to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this.
'Tis almost morning, I would have thee gone, and yet no farther than a wanton's bird that lets it hop a little from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with a silk thread pluck it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty.
I would I were thy bird.
Sweet, oh, so would I. Yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. Hence will I go to my ghostly father's cell, and his help to crave and my dear hap to tell.
Scene 3, Fire to Shell.